I think code is cool.
This was the happiest moment of my life, actually.
So I was literally ecstatic about this opportunity, and
for sure changed my life for the better.
Amazing program.
And I also got to meet a lot of people.
I made lots of new friends.
Very, very valuable.
It was one of the best feelings ever.
Being part of this awesome fellowship.
It's a very interesting experience.
I was really happy because this is a really competitive program.
I was over the moon when I got selected.
Oh, I've learned a lot of things during the fellowship.
And we were actually able to do a lot of pair programming.
I mean, the feeling is out of this world.
How to make a good pull request.
It was a great experience. I contributed to Facebook's Jest project.
Okay, my code will now finally be used at the people at Facebook.
It kind of made it feel like everyone can learn something from everyone else.
The best thing that I enjoyed was the show and tells.
So it's definitely given me a lot of confidence in my technical abilities.
For every meeting, there's always something to learn. Made me a better developer at the end of the day.
It was a project that I was super proud of.
Like knowing that my code will be used by like many people.
Each sprint is like a hackathon.
I learned Flutter Web, and it was in my bucket list for a very long time.
For doing some awesome show and tells.
There was one meeting in which we became a Batman by flipping our cameras upside down.
Flaming flamingos were the best part.
So when I say that MLH Fellowship was one of the most amazing experience I ever had.
And I was literally happy about it to be associated with this community.
It was really great experience.
Yes, I made a lot of new friends.
Everyone in the pod has become my friend, and
I think that building community is the most important thing in the fellowship.
Hey everyone! Let me be the first to welcome you to the graduation ceremony for the Fellows of Batch 1 from the MLH Fellowship. For those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Swift, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Major League Hacking. Major League Hacking, or MLH as we call it, is an organization specifically focused on empowering our next generation of technologists. We help them learn the skills and build the network that they need to launch their careers. In 2019 alone, we helped more than 100,000 people all around the world get started on their journey into software engineering. We do it all through experiential, hands-on learning. At events like hackathons, workshops, meetups, conferences, fellowships, and everything in between. Any place that a technologist can come and gain hands-on experience with the technologies they'll need in their journey, MLH is there supporting them at every step along the way. Now, I know firsthand why that's such an important mission, because without this community, I wouldn't be here today. I'd be a lawyer instead. Back when I was in high school, I'd never thought about being a software engineer. When I did think about developers, I was thinking about cubicles, not startups and all the things I know and love now. Back then, I'd been running a small landscaping business, and when the time came to head off to university, I realized I was going to need a new job. You can't exactly bring a lawnmower to a dorm room after all. So I went on the job board for my university. I sorted the jobs by how much they paid, and I applied for all the jobs that paid the most, thinking that was a really good strategy. Of course, only one job wrote me back, and it was a programming job. I'd never programmed before in my life at that point. I mean, I loved computers, I was a hard worker, and I was willing to learn, but they might have been better off hiring literally anybody with any kind of programming experience. I was really fortunate though, and they took a chance on me. I taught myself to code over the next 2 years writing accounting software. Now, a little while later, a friend of mine found out that I programmed, and he invited me to my first hackathon. I'd never heard of hackathons before, but the way he described it, it was a weekend-long invention contest. Developers from all around the area would come together and dream up crazy ideas for inventions. Websites, mobile apps, robots, anything in between. They'd spend the next 24 hours actually bringing those ideas to life. And at the end of it all, they'd show off their inventions to this room full of complete strangers. I had no idea what to expect. When I walked into that room though, I found 100 other students who had given up their weekends of doing all the things university students do to come back to campus, to learn, build, and share together. And I had this light bulb moment where I realized I'd been on the wrong path, that I should forget about being a lawyer and that I should be a software engineer instead. Now the next day, I woke up and switched my major to computer science, and I started doing everything I could to become a developer. And looking back, I'm really glad I got my start at hackathons, because the things I was learning in my classes were not the things I needed to actually be employable as a software engineer. There are a lot of great ideas and theories, things that would be really useful once I already had that job. But actually knowing how to solve problems with code, that was something I was learning at hackathons, out every single weekend working on a new problem, gaining experience working with those technologies directly. And that's why Major League Hacking exists today, because we're helping tens of thousands of people all around the world every single year learn those applied experiences that they need to be able to launch their careers. Now, the MLH Fellowship is an even more direct approach to this. Over the course of 12 weeks, aspiring technologists are paired up with real projects from all kinds of amazing corporate partners. They work on those projects in an extremely collaborative environment that mirrors the kind of experience they would have in an actual software engineering role. They work with other amazing community members who are on that same journey, have the guidance of expert mentors, and participate in all kinds of events like stand-ups, retrospectives, speaker series, and anything that can help them both learn the skills they need and also inspire them in their career. Now, you'll hear firsthand from these fellows about what they went through over the last 12 weeks. You'll also get to hear from the partners who made this possible, the mentors who supported them, and the pod leaders who are there working with these developers literally every day of the week. Before you do though, I want to thank a few people. First, I want to thank all of our partners who made this entire experience possible. Without them, the MLH Fellowship would not exist. That's folks like Facebook, GitHub, Amazon, Dev.to, and Ensign. Thank you for all of your support and all of the work you do to make these fellows successful and help them launch their careers. I'd also like to thank all the staff who work tirelessly behind the scenes to bring the MLH Fellowship together. Our pod leaders, our mentors, all of the admissions staff, our program staff, all of them work together in unison to really make this amazing experience, and none of it would be possible without their support and their hard work. And finally, I want to thank the fellows for spending the last 12 weeks with us. You accomplished so much, and everybody at Major League Hacking are so proud of you. We can't wait to see where you go from here. With that, let's get into the fellowship graduation ceremony. You're going to hear a lot of amazing stuff, and I hope that you're as proud of all the folks that we're celebrating here today as I am. Happy hacking, and let me be the first to congratulate you and welcome you officially as alumni of Batch 1 of the MLH Fellowship.
It was really interesting that we'll be getting mentorship, as well as we'll be collaborating and building the projects that will be ultimately used by millions of people.
I was also attracted to MLH due to the fact that I'll get to work with people from different parts of the world. I'll get to learn from them, also be able to share my experience with them.
So when I got accepted, first I was excited, and then I was a little bit intimidated, and then I was excited again.
So when I retried and I got accepted, it was one of the best feelings ever.
Right, and so I was kind of counting down the days until it started.
I found that quite fulfilling about sharing and receiving knowledge from each other.
It will not only give you some technical skills, it will also give you some soft skills about how to talk with people, how to connect with them.
I learned to use version control properly.
I learned more about how to use GitHub for collaboration.
There was really a lot of collaboration going on.
Because I didn't know in an environment like this you can get such support. Just knowing that there are people that are willing to support you and go out of their way to help you.
I never really felt like an internship or fellowship, was that to say. I always used to look forward towards Tuesdays or Thursdays when I have to stand up with my pod.
It's working with all the other fellows. It's been really phenomenal for me.
The MLH provide a safer environment for students to actually learn.
My biggest takeaway through the MLH Fellowship is that I am capable of building side projects, and I am capable of building out my technical skills.
The environment that is created by our mentors is just amazing. I don't think I'll be here if not for the support that I got from the mentors.
I really love the concept of show and tell in MLH Fellowship, and
when I work with the other fellows, I'm able to learn a lot from them.
Skills that I had previously heard about as buzzwords. Now I actually know what those concepts mean, and I can apply them to a project.
Of course, I made lots of new friends, not only from my pod but from other pods as well.
I have this one friend from my fellowship where we are really just hunting for jobs together so that we might have the chance to work together in future as well. We're both applying to the same jobs.
I guess I'm going to miss this after the graduation.
Wow, as you can see, a lot happened in the last 12 weeks. These fellows have so much to be proud of. Let's hear from them firsthand about this amazing experience and about the community they built along the way.
It's been 3 months. I didn't even realize how fast it passed. People say that when time passes so fast, it means that it was spent doing something you like, and it's completely true. It all started back in April or May 2020 this year, when a lot of people lost their jobs, a lot of internships were cancelled. Back then I did actually write my application for the fellowship, but it turned out that my country is not in the list of accepted countries. But just a few months later, in August, I went to the website of MLH and I saw that they are launching another batch of fellows. And this time, the fellowship was available worldwide, apart from, I think, a few countries, but this time it was available in my country as well. And so I applied, and I actually got into the fellowship, yay! I got into the Explorer track. The idea of the Explorers is to actually explore different technology stacks, different ways to do a software product. You work in 2-week sprints. I do really like this technique because sprints are also a thing in agile methodology, which is very commonly used by technology companies themselves. In the fellowship, I was able to work with a lot of different technologies like Python, Node.js. I used a lot of tools and I really learned how to write continuous integration script. I also learned a lot of things about deployment, because when you have 2-week sprints and at the end of these sprints each you have to upload your project somewhere, you really start knowing how to do it, because different platforms have different requirements, different specifications, and different ways to actually host your app somewhere. One of the most, if not the most important things that you can earn being an MLH fellow is the connections. In my pod there were 15 people, all of them were amazing, great, and what I really noticed is that each person has a very distinct thing they like coding. For example, they can be into front end, they can be into back end, they can be into something else, and each fellow can be useful with something, and they have the knowledge about something, they can teach you about that something, which was very well shown with the so-called show and tells, which are basically sessions where different fellows talk to each other and present different things that they can do and that they can share with others so that they can learn. Apart from this, you also have to make a video demoing your actual product. Not only that, but you have to make a good readme and a good dev post description as well. So I think that it's really fair to say that a lot of us, including myself, learned how to present our products, our projects much better. Those who did not know how to use version control, they very quickly learned how to do so. There were a lot of learning benefits for all of us. While each sprint had its engineering focus as well as a topic, while we also had the mentoring support of people in the industry, there was enough freedom for us to explore and do things the way we wanted. We were able to implement all of our creative ideas, use whatever technology stacks we wanted, and make whatever software we actually wanted to make. I've had really fun times. In a lot of my meetings, pod meetings, we were just very friendly to each other, very casual, very nice. It felt like a family for me. Our teams were all very diverse. The Explorer Fellowship has helped me a lot because it has given me this motivation and a huge portfolio that I can now present in front of potential employers. We had a lot of fun activities, a lot of games. We were playing Among Us, we were playing Mafia, we were playing different things with my pod, and I do believe that the other pods also had very similar experiences. I was actually able to meet other people from other pods as well. I'm sure all of us enjoyed this program so much. Thank you really to the whole team. Shout out firstly to my pod leader Arsalan for being a great guy, for helping us every time, for making sure everything is okay all the time. Thank you to the whole team which makes this fellowship possible. Thank you to all of our amazing industry experts that gave out talks, that helped us a lot, that were always available to chat and ask and support us. Thank you to Will for all the organizational support, for all the streams. And of course, thank you to Mike Swift, who is the founder of MLH and also the fellowship. I don't want to say that this is over because it's really not over, especially now in pandemic times. It's more normal than ever to meet with others online, to make connections online, and to keep connections alive online. So all of these professional connections and friendships, they will stay. Actually, it's just the start. I really hope that I'll be able to work with my teammates and the people from all the other pods. In the future, maybe on open source projects, maybe on our own projects, maybe in a professional environment, that is in a company, as colleagues. I would be very happy to meet any one of you in real life as well. You were all wholesome, very warm, very great, very professional. Thank you for all you did, and happy hacking.
Hi everyone, I'm Wei, based in Jacksonville, Florida, United States. I'm from Pod 106, Team Go Request in the MLH Fellowship Open Source Program. First of all, I'd like to say a big congratulations to all our open source fellows who are completing the 12-week long program. Through the program, we, our open source fellows, are so fortunate to have the opportunity to connect and network with each other, our mentors, industry experts, and from all of whom we got valuable technical experience, knowledge, and career advice. In addition, us open source fellows had the privilege and honor to work with open source maintainers directly, some of whom are from startups, some from big tech, and some are into their own ventures. What they share in common is their deep industry expertise and passion to open source. We're so thankful that they're willing to dedicate their energy and volunteer their time in guiding and helping us in open source. It felt like yesterday when we started 12 weeks ago. Most of us were so intimidated by the mere idea of contributing to a public and big open source project. As the program progressed, and with the amazing help of all the individuals I mentioned, we all went from open source consumers to open source contributors. Although both words start with the C, it's a giant leap forward for all of us. The program helped us get out of our comfort zones, learn new technologies, enter into unfamiliar code bases, and doing meaningful and productive open source work, all while attaining invaluable connections and experiences on the way. This experience will live with us for the rest of our lives. It empowers us and gives us full confidence when contributing to big open source projects in the future. Personally, I'd like to thank Matt and Ivan from Amazon Web Services for making our open source contributions possible and supporting us every single week. I'm proud to have collaborated with them and other AWS developers in closing over 24 issues and pull requests. Another personal achievement was from my orientation hackathon project, Socialify, a collaboration with Rahul from our pod. Since debut, the project has received almost 650 stars and over 300 GitHub repositories are actively using it. In a way, we became maintainers of our little open source project ourselves. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. Let me end by saying, stay connected. Don't disappear just because the program is over. I hope you can keep up your passion for open source and continue to contribute to open source projects. I highly encourage you to keep up the personal connections with peers, mentors, and maintainers established during this program. These are the invaluable assets that you can take with you from the program, and they will benefit you in the long road ahead. These are the remarkable resources, connections, and opportunities which were only made possible with the MLH Fellowship. Lastly, I'd like to thank our junior team leads from all over the world who did such a fantastic job sticking with us week after week, organizing pod meetings, assisting us in navigating the fellowship, and attending to our every need. To conclude, on behalf of Open Source Fellows, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to MLH leadership and all program staff for making the fellowship possible. Organizing so many activities like the hackathons and countless live streams, interviews, and events to benefit all of us. We really appreciate it. And to our graduating fellows, stay in touch and see you in your next pull request.
My name is Noah. I was a fellow with MLH's Batch 1. I was part of 2 pods, an externship pod and an open source pod. And I'd just like to take a moment to congratulate you, because not only did you just finish this 3-month period of time doing either an externship, an open source, or an Explorer program, but you did that during a global pandemic, which I guess I'm still wearing this and never took it off, but that's an accomplishment. I've had a lot of fun working with all of you, getting to know some of you, and I think it's always fun to get together with people who are like-minded and you can talk about and share your interests with, and I think that's one of the main points of this fellowship. I'd like to highlight, like, my favorite points on top of all that was, of course, I think the hackathons were great. The initial hackathon was definitely a little bit hectic, but I feel like the halfway hackathon went a lot smoother. People were kind of more acclimated and we knew each other a bit better. And I know me and my team, Jordan, Grace, and Calvin, we definitely did a lot with the time that we had. I would say I think MLH is a very unique program. It caters to a very unique need. We generally have talent, but we don't necessarily have the connections to the people that need our talent. And that's kind of where MLH bridges the gap. Like, for the externship, for example, I could have developed the system I developed with my team alone, given enough time. It would have taken longer, but it wouldn't have really been helping anybody. It would have been kind of useless, and the chances that someone who could have come along to use it would have been pretty slim. But MLH helped hook my talent and my team's talent up to our sponsor, to someone in the Air Force, and we got stuff done. And it was really great. I had a lot of fun demoing it and working on it with my team, Naomi and Joe. I also had a lot of fun in the open source, contributing to some of the MLH Discord bots and the open source fellowship, that is, the Discord bots on the server, and also Fast API, which is working on a PR that's still open. That one was a little bit bigger, but I do hope to continue that post-fellowship. I'd like to just close, and I hope I've mentioned this to many of the leaders, but in case I haven't, I think that this fellowship program, including the externship, including the Explorer program, I think it's a great idea, and it's a great way to go about helping people learn and kind of bringing people together in a community, and especially during the pandemic, where we're all kind of staying inside and we're a little bit more secluded. I mean, we're already programmers, but now it's even worse. And I wish everyone well in their future endeavors. Again, I'd just like to thank the MLH staff and everyone for coming together and making this all possible.
Wow. Now, none of that would have been possible without an amazing group of people working tirelessly behind the scenes to have it all come together. Up next, we're going to hear from our pod leaders and mentors, who were the people working directly with these fellows every single day over the last 12 weeks while they've been on this journey. Our pod leaders are running things like hackathons and retrospectives, show and tells, stand-ups every day. And our mentors are there for technical and career advice, helping these fellows whenever they got stuck or could use an outside perspective. Let's hear from them firsthand about how they supported these fellows and what they were able to accomplish.
Hi, my name is Yashika and I'm from India.
So I'm Gabriel, I'm from Brazil.
Hello, my name is Kunal and I'm from New Delhi, India.
Hey everyone, I'm Rashika and I'm from Nepal.
My name is Azlan and I am from Pakistan.
I think that we all thought that this would be difficult, like open source and structuring projects and working on them is scary. But to be honest, it's not. As long as you're collaborating and you're working on something that you are really loving, that would be great. It's not scary at all.
First and foremost, congratulations to you all. From building some cool projects to contributing, I guess, thousands of lines of code to 30 plus open source projects, you guys have made an amazing contribution and you all should be very proud of it.
So for current fellows, first of all, congratulations. You are one of the handful of students who got selected, and the platform I believe you all are aware of now is really a great opportunity, both in terms of improving your technical skills and networking with other people, which is really important.
Because before I was like, oh, I cannot offer help to this person because they're more talented than I am, right? That's not true. Like even though they are more talented, if that thing exists, you're always going to know something the other person doesn't, right? That's why the fellowship exists, to for people to collaborate and work together and learn from each other.
Everyone is doing amazing by making open source contribution or making projects for the hackathons.
You all are truly rock stars, and keep hacking, keep creating.
Community is really important. Learning in public is really important.
What I think is that fellowship is not just about a contribution, it's more than that. It's networking with other fellows, it's networking with the mentors, it's networking with different people.
Try to experiment with new things. If you're from an open source pod, then definitely contribute to open source projects quite more. It's only going to help you in enhancing your technical skills and your community engagement.
And I would say that keep contributing to open source. So even after the fellowship gets over, don't stop contributing, because open source needs us. Open source projects want us to contribute. So keep contributing, because it would always help you to level up your knowledge and give back to the community.
And I wish you all the very best for your future endeavors.
Hi everybody, how's it going? My name is Gabriel. I'm a pod leader for pods 1.1.1 and 1.0.1. I'm here to talk a little bit about my story, both as a fellow on batch 0 and as a junior team lead on batch 1, aka right now. When I was a fellow on batch 0, I really just got into the interview because my interviewers saw that I was actually using Vim. It was they were not really interested in my in the project I was showcasing. Because I showed them a little bit that I was interested in something I didn't. I was interested in something that wasn't required, right? The people didn't require me to be interested in. It was not the job. It was something I really wanted to do. When I finally got into the fellowship as a fellow, right, in the last batch, I finally understood why they hired me, why they admitted me in the program, because of my Vim usage, which like for me at the time was completely crazy. But then I realized the fellowship is basically a bunch of people that are super into tech and super into building cool stuff and learning, most of all, interesting things they're really interested in. Everybody in the program showed that during batch 0. And now, as a junior team lead, I see that you all have the same characteristic right now, right? I see not only my fellows, but I see other fellows that I've met along the way, and you're all awesome in that sense, right? We're all united by that constant drive, not only for excellence, but actually in our seek of knowledge, right? In our journey to know a little bit more, and to and also to get to know a lot of interesting people, to interact, but to eventually just gather a bunch of knowledge, be either about jobs, about like personal development, or some specific technology, or code reviews, or code practices, and that makes me really excited, and that's kind of part of the drive that made me want to be a junior team lead, to be a part of it once again, and to be able to see you all here again. And it makes me really proud that you're all here at the graduation. It makes me really proud to have been a part of it, even if I was like a small part of it. I was still part of it, and I'm so proud of myself, and you all should feel at least the same as I'm feeling right now. I think you should be feeling more super excited, because we all I'm sure I speak from everyone at MLH and all the other junior team leads when I say we're all very proud of you, to see you grow, to see you develop as developers, as people, as a group. I see my pods integrating a little bit more. I see them having fun. And in the beginning they were all very shy and close, right? And this really makes me very happy to have been a part of it. So I really wanted to congratulate you all on your graduation. I want to give shout outs to Will, to all the CTF team that helped me along the CTF, to my wonderful fellows from pod 1.1.1 and 1.0.1, and to MLH in general, and of course to all of you fellows and staff, everybody basically on the MLH fellowship. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of all your lives, even in a tiny bit, and I wish you all the best. I guess we'll see you we'll see you all online.
Hey everybody, congratulations for graduating from the MLH Fellowship. I for one really cannot believe that we're through with 12 weeks of this fellowship and we're done with one more cohort of MLH Fellowship now. It really has been a great journey working as the junior team lead, getting to know so many of you and work with you. We had some really random sessions of Among Us and that have definitely been an added bonus for this whole experience. I really hope that all of you had as much fun in this program as I did. To everybody in the Explorer pod, you guys worked on some really cool projects and I hope that you do continue some of them. For everybody who contributed to open source software for the very first time, a big congratulations to you, and I do hope that you keep contributing to open source software even after the fellowship ends. So wishing you all the very best for everything exciting that you have coming up in your life now. Bye bye.
Hey everyone, my name is Karan Seth and for the past 3 months, I have been the pod leader for pod 1.0.3 and 1.1.3. Today I may say some cliche stuff, but it does not make it any less true. It's been like 3 months since we started off, but it does not really feel like that because I remember all those icebreaker one-on-ones we had. And I remember it like yesterday that we had our pod kickoff and how anxious I was before those kickoffs. But your friendliness and kindness just helped me calm down during those meetings and everything went smoothly. I may have started off as a pod leader, but over the course of time, I just felt that I am part of these 2 amazing pods as a fellow itself. But yeah, sadly, our journey together at the fellowship has come to an end, and I'm really gonna miss how we used to pass comments on Zomato or how the Explorer pod tried to get me to reveal stuff before the actual date, or those amazing, awesome, unique show and tells we had in both the pods. But above all, what I'm gonna miss is how friendly and kind and understanding you guys were, and for that reason I would really like to thank you all for being patient and understanding while I learned setting up my Calendly and conducting these stand-up meetings. And I would also like to thank everyone at MLH and all the mentors we have, and a special shout out to Will for just being there and just being awesome to help us in anything and everything we need. But yeah, before I sign off, I have one last thing to say, and that is just stay connected, not just with me but everyone in the pod and everyone at MLH Fellowship, and I hope that this is just the beginning of a lifelong friendship. I told you I was gonna say some cliche stuff, but yeah, stay connected and keep contributing to open source.
Hey guys, my name is Jamila, and this past fall I was a group project manager for the Recovering Ravens and the Terrific Pterodactyls in pod 1.2.2 and 1.2.1. First and foremost, I just want to send a huge congratulations to all of our fellows, all of our engineers, for making this such an amazing program and building out these really cool, really robust projects in just a span of 3 months. You know, I remember when you guys first came in, first day, kickoff, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, didn't really know each other, and over the course of the program, I've had the opportunity to get to know each and every one of your personalities, getting to hear your witty banter, getting to see your strengths, your weaknesses, and most importantly, I've seen you guys grow as developers and grow as people. Even if it doesn't feel like it, if you look at where you were on the first day and you look at where you are now, you guys have accomplished so much. You've had late nights, you've had difficult engineering challenges, you've worked with new teams, you've worked with new clients, and you made it out the other end. You did it. And you guys should feel so proud of yourselves, and I want you guys to know that I am so proud of each and every one of you. I have no doubt that you guys will continue to accomplish great things throughout the rest of your lives, and I want to wish you the best of luck in all of your future endeavors.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt and I worked with MLH as a group project manager over the past few months. Not only did I get to spend a lot of time with the individual fellows within my 2 groups, but I also got to meet many of the other GPMs and fellows through my 2 pods as well. Both of my teams have been absolutely amazing to work with, and I truly could not have asked for a better group of software engineers. Not only did the two groups finish the program with great end products, but I can safely say we all learned a lot about team organization and communication along the way. Most of us were scattered across the country, so coordinating meetings across 3 different time zones was a challenge, but we were quickly able to overcome many of the obstacles like these, and I'm incredibly proud of the two end products that my teams were able to create. And if I had to choose a highlight of the entire program, it would certainly be the many times my teams demoed new features they had created to our sponsors. Knowing how much effort the two groups put into their projects made it so rewarding to see their hard work validated, and also the sponsors excited about the potential these new products could have. There was truly no task too difficult for either of my teams. Whatever they were assigned, they quickly tackled with enthusiasm and focus. And again, I could not be more proud of everything that they accomplished. So that being said, I would like to thank Eric, Martine, Carolina, Yosef, Isaiah, Sam, and Ahad, as well as our two sponsors, and also Luke and Mary for these last few months. I know there were a few instances when I would send out a calendar invite with the wrong time zone, for example, or something else like that. But regardless, I'm incredibly thankful that everyone stuck with me and helped me learn a lot along the way as well. Yeah, all of you guys are incredibly talented and awesome to work with, so I wish you all the best of luck, and hopefully we can all meet in person one day.
Congratulations to all of you. You have come this far, finished a term successfully despite the pandemic. So this is something you will definitely cherish one day. At the beginning of the fellowship, one fellow asked during a Q&A session, "Does life as a software developer ever get boring after years of work?" Now that you have completed a term, I would like to answer by asking a question to all of you. How does it feel? Are you bored? Was it challenging? Were the days exciting? Did you think of giving up? Now, take a moment to reflect on the thing you did prior to this fellowship. It could be a college graduation or a recent university exam. Do you notice any similarities with the questions I just asked? Bored, challenging, exciting, giving up? Life as a software developer too goes through these phases most of the time. Failures will come along the way. You may not get your desired promotion, or it might take a lot of time until you land your first job. When I graduated in 2009, almost 11 years ago, there was a global recession and things didn't go as planned for me. I cried a lot the day after my first failed job interview. It was the first biggest failure for me. Looking back at it, if I were to advise my younger self, then I would say that everything happens for good. If you aren't being rejected more than accepted, you're not asking for enough, reaching high enough, and valuing yourself enough. Try new things, do things you're scared of. If the plan does not work, change the plan. Have a plan B. Avoid changing the goal itself. Most importantly, have a goal in your life, always. It's these tiny habits that you will cultivate along the way that will help you shape your career into a successful one. Be honest, trustworthy, and be true to yourself and your job. Don't be guilty if you decide to binge watch Netflix or just get a good sleep and enjoy being lazyful over the weekends. Take breaks, drink water, work out, focus on your health. Health is wealth. Nothing is easy, and you need to keep learning and working hard all the time. Work hard, but smart. I wish you all the best.
Of course, in addition to our pod leaders and mentors, there's another group of people who are working tirelessly to make sure that these projects exist in the first place, and that all of the amazing contributions that our fellows are making over the course of the last 12 weeks actually get merged into production. Those are our open source maintainers and our project sponsors. Let's hear from some of them firsthand about their experience working with these fellows.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt from the AWS Amplify team. I'm one of the maintainers. We were lucky enough to work with another cohort of MLH fellows. This was actually our second time doing the program. Our first one was this past summer. So I just want to congratulate everyone for completing the program. It's super exciting. I know they only take in a few fellows each time, and it's really an awesome program. So I'm really grateful for everyone who has helped us out. I thought I'd share just two quick stories. So one was that for our JavaScript repo, under Amplify. We have a ton of new issues coming in, and people are sort of requesting different features, or they're, like complaining that something's not working and it could be a bug. And our fellows were really just instrumental in helping out with that whole effort. So they reproduced a lot of bugs, and they were able to fix those bugs, or they worked on feature requests that customers have worked for. And it was just really noticeable by our team. And then sort of we have this meeting every week called Ops Review, where we just like review the operational load on GitHub, and it was really clear that the fellows had made a clear impact. So that was one thing I wanted to share. And the second thing was just sort of a cool bot. One of our fellows named Wei had produced a bot that basically, when you move an issue from different categories, so we have a MLH Fellows GitHub board just as a way to organize our issues. And when you move it from, let's say, like to do to complete, in Discord, it would show that that change has been completed. And it's just a great way to kind of, for everyone to stay up to date. So that was really neat as well. So I just wanted to leave everyone with that and congratulate everyone once again.
All right, there's one more group of people that I really want to hear from, and that's our back of house program staff. The people behind the scenes, making sure that all of the right people are in the right place at the right time. They're responsible for everything from admissions through graduation, and they're even the people behind this graduation ceremony itself. Let's hear from them about their experience supporting these fellows, supporting our mentors, our pod leaders, our maintainers, our sponsors, and everybody else along the journey on the MLH Fellowship.
Hey folks, my name is Will and I'm the Community Manager here at the MLH Fellowship. What that really means is that I ensure that you all have an incredible experience over the 3 months that you spend with us. And also, when you finish, that you're ready to conquer the world with any challenges that arise. Batch 1 was the second fellowship, which brought along a number of new changes. This included, most notably, the Explorer program as well as the new Externship. Luke and Mary will be sharing a little bit more detail about the Externship later, but for now I'm going to talk about the Explorer program. First of all, I want to give you all a massive congratulations for finishing the first ever Explorer program. That is a pretty big achievement. Seeing you all start the program, super excited to get started and super excited to learn lots more about all sorts of technologies in the community and the wider industry was awesome and inspiring. And it didn't stop there. Myself and the team noticed that during each of the sprints that your projects were getting substantially better, higher quality, more polished, and more, which was incredible to see even after just a few weeks. Now, that may not seem like a huge achievement now, but those little things like maybe adding a little bit more polish to your readmes or just getting a little bit better at handling some best practices will carry with you during your future endeavors and some of your future work. And you'll look back and go, wow, I really made the most of that opportunity and it's really helping me. And together, this will really allow you to achieve some amazing things during your careers. Hopefully this won't be the end of the fellowship experience for some of you, as you'll be reapplying to join us for the open source or externship programs in the future. But for those of you who are starting your future careers, I wish you the best of luck and I hope I can hear from some of you soon. Which reminds me, definitely stay in touch folks, with not just myself and the team, but also keep in touch with each other. You've built this awesome community over the last 3 months and it'd be a shame to see it go. Now, that's all from me, but I hope you folks have a great time. Happy hacking, everyone.
Hi everyone, this is Chris Ewald, mentor for the MLH open source program. I want to congratulate everyone on your success. You did it. You are now a graduate. When we opened up the program for part-time fellows during the fall, we didn't really consider how tough it could be for some of you to participate on top of your existing university commitments. And we didn't really consider how this would be even more challenging during the current global pandemic. We just thought the individuals that apply to MLH programs are all talented, ambitious, and responsible people who can really do whatever they aspire to do. And so many of you proved us right. You excelled in a situation that was stacked against you. You didn't let any obstacle get in the way of your ambition, not even a global pandemic. So please, let's take a moment to reflect. You did something great. Something very ambitious during a very difficult time. Something good for both yourself and the world at large. And the confidence and accomplishment that you feel right now, remember this feeling and take it with you into your next challenging situation. you may find that it is a walk in the park next to your past accomplishments. And for those of you that stumbled along the way, those of you that got overwhelmed at times, that needed to sit out for a while, well, you set out to do something ambitious in a very difficult situation. And please, if you were looking at your podmates and thinking about how much more productive they were than you during the fellowship, please remember that not everybody is starting from the same place. And not everybody has remotely close to the same situation and burdens put on them outside of the program. So be kind to yourself, respect the effort that you put in, and understand that even the most successful people out there all went through tough times where they fell short of their goals. A huge part of becoming a better programmer is becoming a better human in general. It just so happens that all the best programmers that I know are also some of the best humans that I know. The best programmers know what their individual values and needs are. They have learned a good balance of how to be ambitious enough, but not so ambitious that they become overwhelmed and burnt out. They know the difference between when they can push themselves to take on more responsibility and when to say no, take a step back, and take care of themselves. They have learned how to be as kind as possible to others without being overly unkind to themselves. So I'm sure that no matter if you greatly exceeded your goals for the fellowship or fell short, you learned a lot during this time. You learned how to participate in the open source community, how to work on a real engineering team, solving complex problems on large real-world projects. And just like everyone else in the world these days, how to work remotely, and better take care of yourself during difficult times. So thank you so much for participating in the MLH open source program, and congratulations.
Hey everybody, my name is Luke, and I'm one of the co-directors of MLH's new externship program.
Hi, my name is Mary, and I'm one of the other co-directors of MLH's externship program. We're here today to congratulate you guys and celebrate you guys for the past couple months of hard work. Over in October, we matched 35 fellows to 12 different units in the Department of Defense. And over this past 12-week period, teams of 3 to 5 students built rapid prototypes, web applications, mobile applications, and machine learning models to better help the Department of Defense do their job.
One of the big cores of what we were doing was trying to eliminate kind of a lot of inefficiencies with the way that the Department of Defense works, primarily logistically. And so we had teams working on eliminating paper waste via work order applications and other sort of mobile automation tools. And we also worked on the data side. So we had a team that was focused on picking the best Army Rangers via just a bunch of training data. And we hope that while these instruments aren't going to be used immediately, all 12 teams put in work that's going to be invaluable in continuing to modernize our Department of Defense and our government.
And a special thanks to the group project managers who this program would not be possible without. We had 6 incredible group project managers, each managing 2 projects and handling the logistics, communication with sponsors, and just making sure fellows were enjoying their experience this past fall. These group project managers include Matt Dillabow, Michael Huang, Sam Lamba, Soren Gupta, Libby Tefera, and Jamila Otieno.
And of course, a big thank you to our sponsors on the actual application end. Those were folks in the 75th Ranger Regiment, 94th Air Wing, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Everybody was participating, and we just want to give a big shout out to them for sticking with us, helping keep our fellows engaged and answering questions when they arose. And beyond that, we want to thank the National Security Innovation Network for their support in this program, both financially and through their constant asking questions and pushing us along with everything that we were working on. It was a very long 3 months of understanding these problems, understanding how to build them, getting everybody on board. And as you all know, remote work is not the best for sort of this work. And so we really appreciate everybody who was able to participate in this, stick with it, and build some amazing products for our country. And with that said, we hope you all have a great holiday and a great 2021.
Hi everyone, welcome and congratulations for graduating from the MLH Fellowship. I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes talking about what you all have accomplished and why that work is meaningful. But before we dive in, I want to thank our partners in putting on the program. we couldn't have done it without them. Facebook, GitHub, Amazon Web Services, Ensign, and Dev made your entire fellowship experience possible, and we are incredibly grateful for their support. So, to introduce myself, I'm John Gottfried. I'm one of the co-founders of Major League Hacking, and I live here in New York City, though obviously I'm in my apartment right now. That's a virtual background. I actually have a history degree, so like many of you, I took a non-traditional path to entering the tech industry. And despite having been a developer for more than 10 years now, my top GitHub repo only has about 30 stars. So many of you in the fellowship are already way ahead of me there, so you should be proud of yourselves. Now, all of you are in MLH Fellowship and have been for the last 3 months, but you may not know what MLH is as an organization outside of that. Major League Hacking is the global student developer community. We've been around for about 7 years, and we help students and early career developers learn technical skills outside of traditional classroom environments. We do this through events like hackathons, technical workshops, meetups, and of course, programs like this fellowship. We're incredibly proud of the community that we've built, and every single year we get to see more than 100,000 developers work with MLH in various capacities. You all are now part of that community, so I welcome you. And when I think about MLH and why we built it, a huge part of it for me is that it's something that I wished existed when I was young. You know, when I was getting started, the internet was a very, very different place than it was now. You know, we were talking about surfing the web and we had dial-up modems. And the truth is that there wasn't a really accessible community for people who were getting started. There was a lot of resources out there for university faculty or researchers or really experienced developers who knew what they were doing. But I remember going to websites and copying and pasting code until it did what I wanted. And so, you know, in some ways, I think you all are incredibly lucky to be living through this technology renaissance, and not only to be living through it, but to be contributing to it yourselves and shaping that future that you want to see. And a big way that you're shaping that future is through the open source projects that you're contributing to in the MLH Fellowship. You know, we have a lot of really amazing projects here that all of you have been working on. And the really impressive thing is that these projects collectively are used by millions of developers around the world. And so this work that you've done over the past couple of months isn't just part of your own career journey. It's actually a resource you're creating for tons of other people out in the world. And certainly for people like yourselves who are just getting their start in the tech world. And so I want to give you a big round of applause, and honestly, you should give yourselves a round of applause for all of the amazing contributions you've made to these open source projects and many more. But beyond that, we actually expanded the fellowship to the Explorer track and Externship track for the fall semester, and we're continuing that into the future. And people in those tracks have been coming up with amazing new technology creations beyond open source. We've seen projects that help people solve medical issues, that connect them to social support networks, that create efficiencies in large organizations. There's an enormous amount of potential and creativity in the fellowship, and we are so excited to see all the ways that you all execute this. It's really been impressive to look at the demos people have created, look at the work people are doing, look at the pull requests, and see how polished and how well thought out and intentional your work is. And so I want to thank you all, regardless of what track you're in, for the hard work and dedication you've put into this program over the last few months. And when we think about the fellowship, obviously there are all of these hundreds of little micro accomplishments and interactions that you have throughout your time here, but there's also the big numbers that really kind of quantify the overall experience. This fellowship had fellows from 22 countries. We had 170 fellows, and you all made almost 2,000 pull requests. That is incredibly impressive in a short period of time. And not only that, but you were selected from a pool of more than 30,000 applicants over the last few months. That is massive, and you know, I know that there's a lot of feelings of not being good enough or maybe being an imposter in tech, but the fact that you all were able to be in this program and be successful and create things that other developers use is a massive accomplishment, and it's something that any developer, regardless of their skill level, would be incredibly proud of. But these quantifiable accomplishments, didn't just impact the open source repos and projects that you were working on, they also impacted yourselves very, very deeply. When we surveyed fellows at the end of the summer batch, we found that 69% of the people in the program made their first open source contribution ever as part of the fellowship, and that the vast majority of fellows felt that participating in the fellowship made them more confident contributing to open source. You know, I know there's always a lot of talk and a lot of personal feelings about, you know, not feeling like you're a good enough developer, but I'm here to tell you, you are. And whether you built a new project from scratch or contributed to an existing one, you should come out of this fellowship feeling like you are able to do anything you put your mind to when it comes to technology. One of the really interesting things we look at from a success perspective is whether people continue working, right? Whether this is just a really amazing 3 months or something that has longevity. We also looked at whether people would continue working on the projects they started on in the fellowship, and 70% of you said you would. That's incredible, and we are so proud of that, because the fellowship isn't just about making a lot of really great contributions in a short period of time. It's also about the long-lasting support and engagement that you have with the wider tech ecosystem. And the truth is that your work had a massive impact on people whose job it is to maintain open source. The vast majority of open source maintainers that we worked with and project collaborators said that their project was in a much better state after the fellows worked on it, and we are so proud of that, and you should be too. But one fun graph that I always love to point to from fellowship to fellowship is this one, which simply shows the level of productivity that you all had. You know, on average, fellows were producing a couple of hundred pull requests a month before the fellowship. We're nearing 1,000 during the fellowship. That is incredibly impressive and a really, really big achievement. And it really illustrates how much time and energy and creativity you've put into making this a success. And so I want to thank you all for being part of the MLH Fellowship and leave you with a couple of final thoughts on what it means to now be a technologist going off into the world. The first thing is that the internet is made of people. It's not just about how good your code is or whether your tests pass or anything like that. It's about how you impact people positively with the work you do. I think it was said best by Donald Knuth, who's a foundational computer scientist, who said that the best programs are written so that computing machines can perform them quickly and so that human beings can understand them clearly. A programmer is ideally an essayist who works with traditional aesthetic and literary forms as well as mathematical concepts to communicate the way that an algorithm works and to convince a reader that the results will be correct. You know, this really spoke to me because the work that you're doing, especially on open source, is something that is used by developers and understood by developers and informs their own work and creations in the future. And it really has this kind of butterfly effect of code. And I think that's an amazing way to think about your impact on the world, whether it's impacting other developers or the end user. The next thing I want to leave you with is that computers, for better or worse, are life. They impact every facet of our day-to-day interactions with other people, with ourselves, with the world. And so all of the work you're doing has an enormous potential, for good or bad, to impact people in their very, very real non-internet lives. So I would encourage you all, as you go off and pursue other projects outside of the fellowship, to number one, be incredibly empathetic, not just towards developers that you work with or serve, but also to the end users and how you impact them. Think about how to have a positive impact on people and make their lives better. Create work that inspires you as well. Not everything is about making money or having the most stars or getting recognized. A lot of the work that I've been most proud of in my career is something that inspires me, that I'm passionate about. And that, I think, is a really good way to find projects that you actually want to pursue and invest your time and energy into. And lastly, understand your potential. I talked about a lot of really big numbers and statistics that show how much work you've done and how good that work was over the last 3 months. But I assure you, all of you have vast potential beyond that to create things and work on things that have really profound consequences and can make the world a better place through everyone's interactions with technology. So again, thank you all from myself and the rest of the MLH team for being part of the fellowship. You all did an amazing job and we are so proud of you. And I'll leave you with this. Happy hacking.
And that brings us to the tail end of our graduation ceremony for the fellows of Batch 1 of the MLH Fellowship. Before we conclude, I just want to thank one more time all of the people who came together to make the fellowship possible. Our program staff, our maintainers, our project sponsors, our corporate partners. All of you worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure that these fellows had a world-class experience. Thank you so much for your support. And of course, a strong thank you and congratulations to all of our fellows in Batch 1. You're officially alumni of the MLH Fellowship, and we could not be more proud of you and can't wait to see what you accomplish right here. This is still day 0 of your journey, but you're off to a great start. Now, for anybody who's interested in getting involved in the MLH Fellowship in the future, you can find more info at our website. It's fellowship.mlh.io. Whether you're an aspiring fellow, a company that wants to get involved, a project maintainer, we'd love to talk to you. Head to the website, you can find all kinds of information about upcoming batches and ways that you can support and work with us. With that, thank you and congratulations once again. Happy hacking, everybody. I'm Swift from Major League Hacking.